Hello, and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Shadow Empire on the map submitted by the community. We're definitely making some progress. We're up to 13.4 victory progress. If we get that up to 50, well, everyone else is below 25, we should win pretty handily. We know where a lot more population is, so as time and such logistics supports, we should be good and add that in as well, and the next one in as well. I might actually make a roll for it on the next turn. We don't, I don't have enough or I don't have enough political power, I think, for this turn. Yeah, it's 22 and we got 19. But we want to confederate right in these guys down here. That'll leave us a small non-line pocket to crush down there. And then we want to run up to these guys, another big population center, 350,000 people up there. Which shouldn't be too hard, and in fact we could potentially do that via sea connection. They probably have a port up here we can just connect straight into. Yeah, in theory you have a private, however. We could technically connect in there via sea instead of going by land. There's various reasons to connect by land instead of just by sea. And then we are trying to expand as industry permits. Let's bring the resource pop up. We spent most of the resources this turn. Don't have enough political power for the things I want to spend political power on. We are still trying to kill the robots, which isn't quite going according to plan, but it's happening. It's slowly happening, I think. Running 6mm howitzers. This is Abraham. Have we upgraded those? I would not be surprised if we haven't upgraded those. No, we don't have an upgrade to those. I do for the recon buggies, so if we lose any of the recon buggies, they'll get replaced with better ones. As you can see here, we've got a mix of Cooper 2 and Cooper 3. The Cooper 3 are running the nice new 50mm plating and Gauss machine guns, whereas the Cooper 2s are just on the regular machine guns, so that's actually a pretty big improvement. 227 soft attack versus 45 soft attack, yeah, so it's 4 to 5 times better. Okay, so let's go ahead and cycle the turn here. And I can poke around and see what I can remember of the situation while this end turn's happening. Been trying to do that during the first end turn of each stream. So we've got what's left of the robots down here in these two tiles. We've got nomads down here. We've got one of the communes down here. That is a major player. We got a big bunch of non-aligned in here. The bottom of this, well, I suppose the top of this used to be the bottom of the slavers here. And then the slavers ran out of slavers, so that flipped it over to non-aligned at that point. And yeah, I think this is non-aligned all the way down to here. We had non-aligned or slavers over here that we did clear out in the last stream. Got a non-aligned pocket in here between us and Davis. And we got an unaligned pocket in here between us and this miner. I'll have to actually look to see if that's an aligned or if that's a different faction. Could be an aligned one. Same with that up there. Down here, we got another protectorate that we need to integrate with a small non-aligned pocket to deal with. And then we have this small isthmus breaking off this very long peninsula. I think that's just a big non-aligned pocket, so it should just be the process of pushing down that. Which shouldn't be too hard, although the logistics might be a bit strange trying to do that. And then I think that's all our neighbors, really. Otherwise, we're going to have to start going by sea once we get up against the majors, or pick a fight with the majors. Davis isn't the strongest of enemies, so there might be potential to fight them, although we don't necessarily know what their troop quality is like. They are reasonably friendly, so while we've got targets to pick on that aren't going to be friendly, so the non-aligned territories aren't going to be friendly, for example, we're mostly ignoring them. So that's Nelson State. I forget which one Nelson State is. I think that's one of the majors. Might be one of the minors. I can double check when we're back to our turn. This is a commune. I forget the name of this commune. This is... I think it's actually Davis Fort. It's Davis something. And then we got another major up here. I forget which major up here is this one. And then it's mostly non-aligned. I think this one might actually be... Or is it this one? One of the ones over here is Arachnid. We know there's an Arachnid swarm on the planet. But otherwise, I think the situation is looking up. We're now at the point where we need the industry and the logistics to get to the problems, which is actually in some ways a good problem to have. The problem is that you haven't built the truck and the rail, and that's the only problem you're having. Usually that's a good sign. The other thing I need to expand is the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy needs to expand. And we are starting to do that in the capital, where we got the bureaucracy up to 4 in the capital, and we got the command bunker up to... It's either up to 3 or it's going up to 3. We won't take that up to 4, and then our expands, which I think are actually level 5 cities, can both build up to 5 bureaucracy. So we can really crank the bureaucracy, running it off the back of our volcanic power here. And that should get us moving a lot faster in technology, which can help to deal with the other problems we're having, like the cost to build roads through difficult terrain can be quickly trivialized if you just have loads of industry. And we're not quite at the automation techs, but we can see them over the horizon. They're not far out. And 100% more for the same amount of work is real good. I'm just recognizing I have a road here that I should delete. Just a short little offshoot road that made sense when we were fighting in the area. It doesn't make sense anymore, so I should delete it. Same sort of thing with these little roads in here. A lot of these ones can probably get deleted now that we've moved the front away from those areas. Although this one might make sense if I want to use the iron mine. Like, that's maybe the argument with that one, right? That one kind of makes sense if I want to use the petrol, but we don't need it right now, and we've got other alternatives that are easier to access. And or maybe better. So Zethro Commune. So Zethro Commune is the guy's down here. I don't think we've met the other commune. The other commune, I think, is number 2 right now. And yeah, I think that's the current state of affairs. We may not have to fight a major to end the game here. Or it may just need to be a short violent affair where we very rapidly plow one of the majors under. That's probably a little bit more likely. Yeah, Davis Fort. So Davis Fort is these guys up here. We may actually see some movement from them along the shared border. Although we currently have basically white peace with them, so they won't cross the territorial borders. They may probe into the non-aligned over here, the non-aligned over here, and that's all we'd see. Okay, yeah, we see a little bit of movement from them. Yeah, not much else to talk about while we're waiting for the intern here to cycle through. Okay, so a little bit of fighting from the non-aligned, which makes sense. We are pressuring the non-aligned in a lot of different places. I don't think we necessarily saw any combat losses for us there. Yeah, for example, there we killed 100 of them for none of us. I think we're just waiting on discovery for the heavy combat battle dress, or the heavy combat armor, to go into 4th generation infantry. We've got charge gauss. We just haven't applied it to anyone yet. Or was it the other way? No, I'm pretty sure it's that way either. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be the armor. Oh, actually, we lost a lot more than I thought I did. We lost 300 infantry for the cost, or we lost 900 infantry for the cost of killing 300 enemies. It's round 174. We have 9 decisions. Okay, we completed power banks. That's good. So where was those? What was the combat losses there? So there's one of the attacks, and there's the attack where we lost all the combat losses. That's all the combat losses there. 900 GIs. The GIs here, I believe, are the militia forces. We lost 900 militiamen as one of the as the burrows here do a breakout maneuver. And the rest of the attacks we win. Yeah, the rest of the attacks we win. Okay. And apparently our logistical situation is a little frayed down here. Okay. Yeah, well, what's the action points on this road? It might be that we're starting to run off the end of the logistical line. Yeah, that's probably it. We're out at 157. That's there, so yeah, to go any farther I really need to put a colony in to build up the logistics down this far. It may soon be the case over on this front as well. National decisions. Pay money, make the militia happier?
Yes,
sure.
sir.
And we ignore the leader's actions. We don't need him to be happier. But I don't really want government. I don't really want unrest. So we're going to do the neutral option where we lose a little bit of government. Well, to be fair, with a bit of unrest, 12 unrest isn't too bad, but 24 would be pretty bad. Okay, research. This is the new research. So for the moment, I think, let's take a look at the tech tree. Yeah, with the completion of that, we got all 4 we need from automation. So now we're just picking... Well, I could be going into trying to get into propulsion atomics, which would be... for eco would be separatizations and take fuel over here. That wouldn't be a bad plan. But I don't think we necessarily need to dive deep in the tree. Propulsion's a little bit tempting, because then we need a high-speed rail. Atomics is a little bit tempting for nuclear plant, but we're not too... Well, we don't have the radioactives. So it's actually, we could get the radioactives and make that work, but we're not planning on that. High-speed rail isn't that much of an improvement over normal rail. But yeah, I think we should backslide, pick up barracks, university, hospital, and VidCon, so we can do quality life buildings when we need them for colonies, because we're going to start colonizing as well, while we're waiting for discoveries and automation. And maybe turn up discovery rate a little bit higher if we don't find one of the automation techs before we've researched those 4. So VidCom is probably actually the least important of those 4, because you get lots of cards when you're doing commerce that give... What, we get both zoos because we're mine-centric, and we get commercial districts because we're commerce-centric. Both of those provide entertainment, so we don't need the VidCom too badly. We probably want hospital to make the people healthy. University gives, I believe, a small education bonus in addition. and barracks is security. So if you're trying to deal with mild amounts of unrest, barracks is really strong. So we'll start off with the hospital, and work through those three, and then do VidCom last. Roaming Thieves, yes, you have full support to mitigate that. Critical success. CU has an emergency. We'll take the one that's mixed government commerce. I don't really want the danger from not helping. Colony to level 2,
Aye,
sure.
aye, sir.
Place we've claimed. Unified with from 4 to 5, we'll accept that. At this point, we're a little bit low on political power. Their parliament's turning against us, so we'll send envoys to promote us. Our Director of Foreign Affairs has so much oratory that this will be a successful role, so they will stay friendly, and we can basically do this
Roger that.
continually. And there's all our political power spent, which is a little bit of a shame. And the Nelson States, these guys up here. Yeah. So they're the other Republicans. If I had more political power, we could probably do more diplomacy with them. That wasn't actually what I was trying to look for. I'm looking for over here in the victory review. So we know Daphis Fort, they're the guys to the north. They're probably the ones we'd fight if we were to fight any of the ones we know about. Zethro is the ones we know of to our south. Nelson State was the one we were just talking about. That was the other Republicans. Commune here, and then Commune is the one that we think is probably the strongest in the world, which is not these guys down here. Okay. Combat-wise, let's take another swing at the robots. I want to wait for you to get some more... Maybe some indications the tank might be low on ammo. You know, let's give the tank a turn to get its ammo up. We don't have quite perfect readiness here, and we'll probably recover that over the next turn if we wait. Instead of doing another swing. Well, the swing that we may just miss. Yeah.
Enemy spotted. Abort mission. Advancing. Do no harm? Yeah, right.
Okay. Industry-wise, the construction will proceed at speed. Yes. Metal mining facility is done. We can proceed to upgrade that. We will. Railhead is done. No delays on either of those. Good to see. So, capital, we're going to go ahead and expand the bureaucratic offices to the final level. The metal mine, we're going to continue expanding. Again, I suppose in this case we'll be up to the final level, because we're only going to go up to 5. 5 is also its final level. I was about to say, even if the city reaches level 6, we might not do it at level 6. We're not getting this choice. Metal mines cap at 5. And then we don't have the pool of power to integrate you this turn, so you're just going to do what you're going to do. Run you back to supply so you can receive some food. Got you encircled. I'm going to risk some of the militia here just to get a good, strong surround on here. I'm going to pile on in, trying to get rid of these guys. We'll probably just end up pushing these guys back in sea. I think these were amphibious guys.
Do no harm?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Amphibious and amphibious guys to a different location. There are amphibious guys. They were up here. They probably up on the peninsula instead. Okay. don't want to deal with the problems we've got before us. I suppose I could try to seal this road over. Yeah, I could potentially try to seal the road over a little bit. That'll help logistics coming across that mountain. So I suspect that's going to be a problem. Another thing I could do is I could try to run the road over the mountain here.
We're taking fire! Or requesting backup.
Okay, let's run the mountain the road around the mountains first. And yeah, how much industry do we need to hold on to? Let's do some math here. High Command Palace is being consuming, what? About 100. The bureaucratic office, I know from memory, is about 100. The truck station is basically done, but so there's probably only like a tenth of it left, so it's probably say 200, 300, I'm gonna guess. Oh, that's probably the most expensive one, so probably need to save about 500 industry. So I can spend about 1,000 building roads. So we're going up and over this mountain bit here. It's probably more industry efficient to run around that way than over the thin point here. Yeah. And then the other counter to seal this road, which isn't going to be cheap. It's not going to be cheap at all. Because we're running through the mountains. So that's how much about we'd spend. That doesn't get us very far with sealing. Traffic signals. What are we looking at industry-wise, or action points down here? Pretty bad. Pretty bad. 89 or 189 is pretty close to cap, right? So that actually caps out at 240 for us right now. So we wouldn't be able to go much further without sealing the road. So I guess that should probably be prioritized. Okay. So with that, we spent all the political power, we spent all the industry we want to spend. In fact, probably spent more industry than I should have spent, but we'll get some more in. Local industry gets spent from where you're making it before the global gets shipped from the HQ, so we should be fine. Yeah, let's take a turn, and we'll see what happens. Oh, I probably had some colonists we get to deploy. Not super important. Ideally, we probably want to get all the colonies up to level 3. 3 is where the private buildings usually cap out. So if you can let it get them to the point where the private economy will happily cap out its buildings, then usually they are pretty stable at that size. Okay, coming up the non-aligned turn, so it should soon be back to us. Okay, here we're picking up bottom of round 175. We killed 900 infantry over the end turn, so it was actually a good end turn for us. We have 6 decisions, so hopefully they'll have some power left when we're done. Hospital finished in a turn, so that's a good sign. Once again, don't need to give more relation to the guy who fired this event. We don't like government, so we'll just take the rest. Then I was going to do... forget what I was going to do Barracks University versus we'll do
Order
Barracks.
received.
If we're doing them one a turn, we can get them all out of the way real quick. Heavy tanks. Not sure I actually want to build heavy tanks yet. That's actually a good question. Do I want to... I might wait on heavy tanks until we get polymer armor. Although I might have polymer armor. Let's check. New blueprint tanks. Oh, I do have polymer armor, so I can do a design for polymer for the heavy tanks. So those probably want to run the high velocity guns with the heaviest polymer armor we can get to fit on a triple diesel engine. Okay, so we're probably worth taking them plus 20 AP cost here. Yeah. In which case we can really crank that armor up. These would be expensive to build, but would they penetrate vehicles real well? We'll go ahead and design one of those. It might not get fielded for a long time.
Understood.
We don't really want democracy. We're trying to go merit. But this is... do we have more unrest? And the answer is, well, let's mitigate it if we can, and it's real easy to mitigate. You're taking the democracy option here. And if you're going merit, you don't want to do autocracy. It's easier to press democracy with merit than it is autocracy.
Aye, aye, sir.
They're still trying to turn against us, so we're going to have to spend the 20 point power to keep them friendly. We have a bunch of colonists to send, so let's, before I forget, let's dump the colonists in the colony. Again, we probably want to get this place up to 5,000 people. Or 50,000 people, so... we're only getting about 1,000 turns, so that's quite a bit of work. Oh, actually, let's dump these guys as workers.
Aye, aye, sir.
The Sparrow will get fired. What we can do here is, I assume we're having some quality of life issues. The biggest one is actually health, which is what we can solve right now. So let's go ahead and build ourselves a hospital.
Aye, aye, sir.
And we'll start fixing the big problem. I'm actually surprised they have an entertainment problem. Don't necessarily want to fix that right now. Because that would be like give them a commercial product. What I really want to do first is the unification on these guys. Well, that's actually a pretty low difficulty roll. 2D100 plus 1 is actually not bad for here. This will probably succeed. And it's lagging, which is an indication it probably succeeded.
Roger that.
There we go. There we go. Got these guys added to our area. So I should go ahead and spend the industry here today. Sealing the road down to the city. Which hex is that city actually on? I think it's that one. We'll hide the units for a moment to check. No. I did seal the road to the right tile. Okay, so that's the city. So we'd like to also run the rail line there, if we can. Construct rail. There we go. And then, because this is a new take, yeah, this is newly colonized, or newly annexed, we can't go ahead and slam in the railhead. So that means the rail coming down to this bit will be a little bit nerfed, but that's fine for the short run here. Okay, so we're not going to be able to deal with that guy. That's fine. Not going to move these guys around too much. We'll worry about that on the following turn. We'll start spreading them out, trying to secure all the roads. And at some point, we're going to have to run the road, probably to get the logistics all the way down. Maybe not all the way down to the tip here, but enough that we think we can get the supplies, get people down here to check these hexes and make sure they're empty. Okay. Okay, so seems we're having bad reconnaissance up here in the mountains. So we're getting a lot of hexes fairly
We need
cheaply.
more firepower, sir.
Here's an example one that's not going to be completely free. Do you want to push? Well, not. Probably have to be dirt road. Can I push the dirt road a little bit farther? Yeah, let's do that. It's not necessarily going to be enough to quite get this bit up here, but that'll definitely help with pushing up. And that's probably far enough up that if we run the road around the top here, we'll be good. And then what's the readiness on the vehicles here? Pretty much as ready as they're going to be, so it's time to carry out that attack.
Bring in the tanks.
Oh, that was a good swing.
Operation successful.
There we go. Walker's brought down. And that's the AI. The AI has been dealt with. I may have enough recon here to know that there's no... because that's what's kind of implying from the Fog of War. I have the recon there to know there's no one in those hexes. Although these guys don't have the action points to take them themselves. I'll have to at least wait until next turn. Same thing there. We have the recon. Okay. Okay, progress is being made. Double check to make sure I didn't delay anything construction-wise. The answer does appear to be no. Truck Station 6 is done. I should go ahead and follow up the Truck Station 7. Just cap out logistics coming out of the HQ.
Copy that.
Command Palace is proceeding at speed. It's going to take 2 turns to finish because we've got more than 1 turn left to do. We had 1 delay earlier, and that's basically cost us a turn. Bureaucratic offices will complete in 3 turns. I'm doing another print in there. And yeah, at the moment we're being action point limited. Which in some ways is easy to solve. That's just put a truck station in somewhere along the route. In fact, I probably have the industry to do that. Let's figure out where it really wants to go. Okay, so let's not discount this one, because this is already a branching limit. Around about there is looking right. Probably wants to be there. You know, there's maybe an argument that I should probably have it closer to the coastline, where it'd be able to take advantage of port facilities better, but it's probably close enough. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, if we wanted to do port with it later, it wouldn't be a problem. And yeah, that'll lower the when that's done, that'll have more action points down here, so we can probably push in the militia a little bit better. Yeah. Quick glance at the tech tree. We're working on ammo compactation. After that, we'll probably do heavy combat armor, and then probably do another pass on infantry machine guns. Get them into the charged Gauss and heavy combat armor variants. Yeah. Things are going well. We're hoping to get some discovery and automation, although I have discovery turned down pretty heavy at the moment. Because we've got a lot of research to do and not necessarily a lot to discover. Okay, let's cycle the turn. Things are still going well. I may... Well, the truck station, the metal mine here, competing for resources in this area. If both of those finish next turn, we may start building bureaucracy in these two. Maybe start building bureaucracy everywhere. We'll see. Level in bureaucracies and all the expands. More bureaucratic points will accelerate all the research. I suppose overview is probably the best place to look to see how much bureaucracy we have. Empire dashboard. We're getting just short, or just over 1,000. 1,149 bureaucratic points. Oh, it's expected to go up next turn. So we're getting, big bureaucracy size, we're receiving a minus 22 penalty, but that looks higher than that? I think we're getting some bonuses from various places, but yeah. We're at the point where we're starting to get malices for the size of the bureaucracy, but we still want more bureaucracy. So let's cycle the turn. Okay, here's the non-aligned turn, so it should be coming around to us pretty quickly. Over the intern, we killed 1,600 infantry. We lost 200. We have 7 decisions at the bottom round to 176. We just completed barracks, so we're moving through these old techs that we've been procrastinating on real quick. Ooh, graviton collector. That's a nice source of power. 7 decisions, although it looks like some of these might be easy ones like this one where we're just going to hit confirm. Org decision, I'm not paying 50 political power for that, so no. Economic Council, we're going to go into university.
Order received.
VidCom Broadcasting will be next. We help. Zone upgrade to 4. Sure. Zone upgrade to 6 is too expensive at the moment, so we'll ask you later. It costs extra political power to bring it up again on demand, but you can bring that one up again on demand if you're desperate for it. This is the new town. So the culture won't be right at the beginning to get recruits and colonists from it. But we'll tell it that it can give us recruits and colonists. And then this is probably what I'm going to run for the balance here. Confirm. We may call it up again if we need to fix the wages. And we may need to fix the wages. The wages are too low/high. Did we have any delays on construction? It looks like no. Everything proceeded at speed. That is good. We're gonna take the strain hit for having that truck station so far away from the city for the moment. We'll want to turn it to a city eventually, but for the moment I think that is fine. Colonists, we're gonna continue to dump here.
Aye, aye, sir. Firepower, sir. We're taking fire. Requesting backup.
Yeah, we're very much at the end of our logistical run here because of the action point cost of moving up into the mountains.
Going in. Mission successful. All clear, sir.
And yeah, here we want a rail ahead.
Affirmative.
It should provide us all the logistics we want and or need. I need to build a road down, something like that should work. We'll stretch it to there. Is that... what tile is that? Oh, that's a high mountain. That's what's going on there. Like, why is it such... why is it, like, going from there and going all the way around? The answer is, it's a high mountain. High mountains are... high mountains can be mean when it comes to logistics sometimes. Yeah, we'll run the dirt road like there. We are running into a situation where there are aquatic enemies on this map, so I should probably run guys out to cover any of the coastal roads. We're probably able to... same type of tank? No, those are different type of tanks. I should keep them separate then. Certain galactic rope tanks are medium tanks, certain galactic rope tanks are heavy tanks. I got one of each there. So we're going to basically spread out, try to secure most of the roads down here. This area might not have anything in it, but we don't know. We want to crush those guys, although they're not going to be the easiest thing necessarily in the world to crush. We'll see how well that looks like it is going to be to crush. There are, in some cases, a lot of them. Although, as we can see, they're maybe not super great at fighting tanks. If we bring something like armored car down here, that might make quick work of them. Okay, I foresee lots of optimization in our future. Up to 17.2 victory score. So coming up, and we should probably put the end of this stream, or not the end of the stream, end of this part. Still got 3 more parts to record. Construction-wise, you finished. No delays on anything. I am going to go ahead and we're going to start building up government bureaucracy in all the inherited locations, I think. So here's going to be a good place for bureaucratic office. Should finish in a turn. Here... We'll put bureaucratic office. You know what? Sure. Let's build the
sir.
barracks and the bureaucratic office here.
Aye, sir.
And here's going to get one.
Roger that.
And here's going to get one. Find the city. There's the city.
Copy that.
And you're going to get one.
Affirmative.
And then, how many construction projects do I have going on right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I'm not going to spend any industry this turn improving the roads. So I'm going to guesstimate of how much industry we're burning. Well, all the bureaucratic offices are going to finish. May finish. Let me correct myself there. May finish. If there's any delays, because they do have to hire up a bunch of workers. So, for example, I would not be surprised to hear if it wasn't able to find enough workers in one turn to build an intern, because the bureaucratic office is expensive. In workers. Not in industry, not in metal. Workers. 2,000 workers to build. So I can imagine, like this city, for example, not finding 2,000 workers to build it. Assuming all the bureaucratic offices finish it, we probably go around and do another pass on them, go from 1 to 2, and then 2 to 3, and then 3 to 4 in all the places. This place obviously is going to be capped at 2 for the moment. That'll be fine. But the goal is build up the bureaucracy so that I can do the technology faster, so I have political power to spend on the cards, etc., etc., etc. And I have some political power right now. Let's do a strat card in this city. We can go put a commercial project in.
Aye, sir.
We'll do a little bit of investor backing,
sir.
private economy going there. Graviton collector, we'll put that in the capital. It doesn't really matter where you put them, other than the fact you can only have one in a given place. So we haven't put one anywhere, so it doesn't matter where we put it. The second one obviously can't go in the place where the first one is. We got a lot of prospecting to do because we've got a lot more into territory, but there's not much we can do right now because we spent most of the power. Okay. And all these orgs are going to get better as we're able to throw more and more bureaucracy at them. Optimal bureaucracy, I think, is 100 per task. So, for example, we're giving the Applied Air Force Council 46 bureaucracy points to put towards research. So it's actually getting a bonus because it's below optimal. You don't necessarily want to invest more than that in a given time. Well, you kind of do sometimes because it makes you go faster, but it becomes less efficient the farther past you go. So the more we push in here, the more we're going to be approaching optimal on all places. Although in some places where we were heavily investing, like research, we'll be above optimal. But maybe then that's a case, an example that we can move away from that level of investment. I suppose I got a lot of money. What's the price for high-tech parts? That's the price for high-tech parts. Buy us a bunch of high-tech parts. We'll be wanting those later. And then cycle a turn. Looking at the time when this end turn does end, this is where we're going to put the part break in. If you're watching on YouTube, there'll be another part up tomorrow. I've caught up on the uploads. I fell a little bit behind because we had a little bit of a recording glitch. Well, I say recording glitch, it wasn't a glitch, it was me not enabling the right settings on Strategic Command. So I had to spend time editing that for upload. That put me about a day behind. I've caught up. But if you're watching on YouTube, well, if you're watching on YouTube, you probably won't know this because I got it done in my 2 days of slop. But yeah, so I'm caught up on uploading. So if you're watching YouTube, there should be a part up tomorrow because we're going to record 3 more parts today. And yeah, we're going to wait until this end turn ends and then we'll put that part back in. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a short break just to stretch the legs between parts, but we'll be right back. Okay, coming up in the non-aligned portion, so we may be coming around to our turn fairly soon, which is we're going to put that part break in. Looks like we're getting a couple attacks here before the end turn. Where we're getting attacked. Let's see if you can see any of those before. Ah, it's gonna go in and fight me. Never mind. Once again, I hope you've all been enjoying. If you're watching on YouTube, there'll be another part up tomorrow. And if you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. We're gonna take a short break, so I can get up for a short bit, stretch the legs and sip some tea, and then we'll be back to record the next part. We're definitely making progress. Progress is being made. A lot of that progress is moving units and building roads, but progress is being. So we'll be picking up next time, the bottom round 177. We killed 900 infantry over the end turn, and we'll have 4 decisions to make on the next turn. So with that, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.